Hi, I'm Marian Kassim, and today I'll be doing my Draw My Life video from since I was born up until my freshman year in college. And I think I've wanted to do one of these Draw My Life videos ever since they became popular over the internet a couple years ago, so this is really cool and really fun for me. I hope you enjoy. So first, I was born in Paris, France actually, at the hospital of Saint-Antoine in Paris's 12th administrative district, or 12e arrondissement in French. Yeah, it's like pretty much in the middle of Paris. That's me with the Eiffel Tower. I weighed like 7 pounds. But what's really cool is that the first thing my mom, or like my parents, allowed me to wear, like the baby clothes, it said artist, like the word artist, which is kind of foreshadowing what my passions will be in the future. This is my mom. And over here is my dad. We all live in the rural part of Paris called Noisy-le-Grand, and it's a couple metro stops away from the big city, Paris. And we lived in an apartment complex that was surrounded by all these other apartment complexes that made this huge neighborhood of apartments kind of thing. It was really inclusive, really like close together. A quick recap of my family. Both of my parents are Vietnamese, but my dad moved to France when he was really young, so his French is a lot better than his Vietnamese. My mom, on the other hand, is completely just Vietnamese through and through. She was born there. She speaks and writes and reads fluently, just like any native speaker. At home, I speak Vietnamese with my mom, and I grew up speaking French with my dad and his side of the family in France. So it was really like I had a bilingual household. They all understand one another, but I selectively choose which language to talk to them. I pretty much became fluent in French once I started school, preschool and kindergarten. Since I was only then surrounded by constant French, I naturally assimilated with the culture and the language, just with my classmates and teachers. I grew up just like any other kid. I was really close with the kids that lived in the neighborhood, like the really big apartment complexes. I had a best friend, Vincent, who lived like in the apartment next door, and I was also really close with Joanie, Carol, and Steven, who were kids that lived in my apartment complex but on the ground level. I went to school in France up until the second grade, which is CE1 or CE1 in French. I stayed there until I was 7 years old, which is when my family, my dad, mom, and I decided to just go on the plane and go across the sea, Atlantic Ocean, all the way to America in Georgia, where we had existing family. Like many other immigrants with the means to travel, our push factor out to America was for better educational opportunities. Children in America have opportunities that are found nowhere else, and so for us, that American dream gave education, success, and a miracle that we could not experience before. When I first came to Georgia, Lawrenceville, in Gwinnett County, I lived with my uncle's family, and that uncle is my mom's youngest sibling out of 5 children. In his family, he had 2 sons who were both younger than me, and I was really close with them, and we played with each other. But after we had this fight, it's more complicated than that, but basically in the end, my mom, dad, and I, we moved into our own house. And yeah, home sweet home. So of course, as a 7-year-old in a totally new environment, I didn't understand what anyone was saying. It was really confusing. And when I started elementary school, right in 3rd grade at McKendree, for a period of time I communicated mainly with facial expressions and by pointing. And just because I didn't speak English yet, I hated history and reading. I would get back these huge zeros on reading quizzes, and although I'd understand why I did so poorly, I'd still be sad. I was used to being a good student in France, so I felt exasperated and frustrated. I always put in the ESOL class, English to Speakers of Other Languages, and that was just really, really comfortable for me because I had an incredible teacher, Miss Kraft, that helped like kids like me who didn't speak English at all. She helped us figure out what was going on like basically in our native language. She had this really cool electronic dictionary thing that could translate words to other languages, and so we would read them in whatever our language was. Also, for some reason, during this time, they decided to put me in Focus, the gifted education program. I guess they thought that I showed enough potential to be in the program, even with my limited English. But in the end, I loved being part of that program. The closest of the group made me feel comfortable and just really happy with my new environment. One of the things that really helped me adapt and just enjoy what I was doing and being in America were my passions. So for a long time, I've always really liked drawing and playing the piano. And since school, elementary and middle school had drawing and music classes, I always felt really comfortable in them. I finally understood what was going on, exactly what was going on. Both had been my passions for a while. My dad had bought me a lot of art books and kind of taught me how to draw in France, how to do arts and crafts. So I've always done that. And then I picked up piano on the way in France too. We have a small keyboard. Since my mom saw how much I liked the piano, she enrolled me in these kinder music classes, which is kind of like kindergarten for music. So that started when I was around 4 years old, which is around 3 years before we came to the US. After getting our own house towards the end of elementary school, one of the first things my mom bought for me was a kawaii upright piano. And she enrolled me in private piano lessons with my lovely teacher, Miss Luzia Glagoleva. She's Russian. I had private lessons with her all the way through middle school and high school. And as for art, I kept on drawing. I won a couple of those reflection contests in middle school, and I later took art classes in high school. And as you can see, I still draw. I really like drawing. My middle school years were pretty nice, mostly uneventful. I focused on my academics, getting the A's that I wanted, and I joined chamber orchestra. I took up the violin, and being part of orchestra was really fun for me. And I also worked a lot on my English and assimilating into American culture. Since I read a lot, my written English was at the right age level, but my spoken English wasn't really comfortable to me until I reached about high school, freshman year. My mom entered me for a lottery that would later give me a spot at the Gwinnett School of Math, Science, and Technology, which is a charter STEM school in Gwinnett County. And that was just a really big milestone in my life, I think, going into that specific high school. The way that GSMST worked was genuinely different from other high schools. We first of all didn't have any sports team. We didn't have a football team or anything, but instead we had our Robo Dragons, which is our robotics team, which is really good. But our school was focused on just getting its students ready for college. We had a different and a more difficult core program with required APs and stuff, and it was a lot of work. It was pretty dang stressful. For my junior year, we had these 8-push notes that would take around 5 hours per chapter, and if you procrastinated, which we all did at some point, it was just really rough. I was falling asleep in class, and it was rough. We had these required internship positions for our junior and senior year called the Junior Fellowship Experience, JFE, and the Senior Capstone Experience, SCE. And so we had that kind of stuff that was a little bit different from other high schools, but yeah, it was stressful, a lot of work. But then at the same time, even though it was a lot of work, I loved the friends and the community that was there. I just loved everyone I was surrounded with. I made such good friends, most likely lifelong friends there. I helped out with decorations for events, car washes, and dances, and I was part of the organization committee that ran our biggest annual event, International Night, which was so much fun. During all these activities, being in charge of projects and leading others really made me feel that sense of family within the school. As part of the Honors Orchestra, we went to New York twice in 4 years, performing at Carnegie Hall the second time, an experience in itself. my closest group of friends, my orchestra family, was with me there, so these trips were just incredibly fun for me. We went to Orlando Disney to perform in all the attractions my senior year, and that was exciting and the perfect way to end high school. So I don't know if you've kind of noticed throughout like the whole video, my appearance changed a lot, like through my drawings and stuff. And the reason for that is basically I had one of the biggest transformations, like physically, during high school. Because I don't know why, I had this like short tomboy phase in the middle of it. Elementary school and middle school, I had like a generic like Asian bowl haircut. Then I grew that out. I got glasses since my eyesight is bad. And everything was okay until I reached that freshman year, and I had acne. I had these small frames for glasses that weren't really nice, and I decided to get this mushroom haircut. I don't know why. It did not look good, but I had those, and I had braces too, so I did not look great. Yeah. After that though, around like my junior year, I grew my hair out, I changed my frames, I was off my braces, and my acne got better, so I just looked completely different. If I show people pictures of me before versus me now, like they're really shocked. It's a pretty big transformation. But yeah, obviously, no matter how I looked, I always had friends that just loved me for the way I was. And I established such strong groups of friends by the end of my senior year that it honestly made all the hard work, all the pain, kind of like experience worth it, like through high school. I had this amazing AP art squad, we call it, with my one of the 3 closest friends, and I had like my gaming friends, my orchestra family. And then I also had a group of my home high school friends that I still kept in touch with. And those home high school friends are the ones I've stayed in contact with since middle school. So they're all really special to me, and I'm really thankful to have them in my life. Separating from my friends and from my family was really hard once we got to college. For me, college application itself was a struggle. The weight of college applications hit me kind of like a bullet. As the first in my family to undergo this process, it was really hard. I didn't really know where I wanted to apply, much less what I wanted to do in the future. Our family financial situation was always in the back of my mind, and so I carried the feeling of always feeling lost and behind compared to other students that knew exactly where they wanted to go, what they wanted to do, and knowing that they had the right grades and the right scores to be able to get there. But in the end, in the long run, my teachers, my family, my friends, the counselors I talked to guided me through the process, and they made it better. They told me everything was going to be okay. Even though I didn't end up getting into the colleges of my choice, I know that in the end, there are always things to strive towards, no matter where I am and which school I attend. So here I am at UGA for my undergrad degree, pursuing a double degree in music performance and international business and marketing. Everything is going, and that's where I am right now. Thank you for watching.